And part two, because I hit the wrong button. So let's see here. There we are. Share that one. So in the year 70, as Christ proclaimed would happen and prophesied would happen, and it's even referenced in Daniel 9 as well. There was a Jewish revolt and uprising in the late 60s, and it was crushed by Rome with year 70, the invasion of Jerusalem by General Titus, and the destruction of the second temple, the temple that Jesus had gone through in his lifetime in ministry. So that temple got destroyed in the year 70. In AD 70, the armies of Rome destroyed the temple of Jerusalem, razed the city to the ground. I always thought the word raised for bringing something down was kind of crazy because I always think raised with an I, like something got raised. It got razed to the ground. Anyway, yeah.
Raised in this case like a razor.
Like that's a great idea. I mean, great way to think of it. Thank you. That helps me. Yeah.
Raised as an onion, R-A-I.
Yeah, to go up. Yeah. But when you're not reading it, if you just hear the word, you know,
right.
Be better to say razored or to the ground. Yeah. 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 Raised to the ground. Yeah. The Jewish people were taken captive into the nations. It was the beginning of their nearly 2,000-year exile from their homeland. So this was the death of the nation before the resurrection. Of course, the people were still alive, just dispersed. The nation as an identity was lost. And this brings 11 years later, this event was celebrated and commemorated with a monument known as the Arch of Titus. And specifically on the Arch of Titus, commemorating the destruction of Jerusalem and its temple and the plundering of its goods, we see here them making off with a Jewish menorah, the seven candle lampstand here. And you can still see this today. The Arch of Titus from the year 81 when it was built, commemorating the destruction of Jerusalem in the year 70 with that right there on it. The Arch of Titus, let's see. Move that there. Arch of Titus. In Rome, on the Via Sacra, the sacred road in Rome. Just to the southeast of the Roman Forum. Yeah. Okay, you back up there. No. Oh, the yeah, the temple treasures, yeah. So there's the arch, and then as mentioned, there's there's that. So that is our New Testament scripture reference before we get into times after the Bible that will bring scriptures into. So the first event after the Bible that we're going to bring up. So this was in the year 81. Book of Revelation completed about the year 96. So within 40 years of the Bible's completion, we have another Jewish revolt against Rome in the year 132. This revolt was called the Bar Kokhba, however that's pronounced, revolt. And it's called that, 132, let's see, 46. It's called that because of the name of the rabbi who led the revolt. There was still a sizable remnant of Jews living in the land. In this year, AD 132, the Jews in the land again revolted against Rome, led by a man named Simon Bar Kokhba. That was in 132. Well, in 135, Bar Kokhba was killed, and the revolt was brutally crushed. And so, notice that there. Oh, back. Here we have coins that were minted during the 3 years of that revolt. So this is a silver. It's got the Jewish temple facade here with the rising star, surrounded by Shimon, because it was Simon Bar Kokhba. And on the flip side, the text reads, "The freedom of Jerusalem." Here we've got a somewhere in that time frame, year 3, grape bunch on the vine, surrounded by Shimon, Simon in Paleo Hebrew. And then on the flip side, we got the palm branch, and again the phrase "freedom of Jerusalem." And here we've got trumpets surrounded by to the freedom of Jerusalem, and then the lyre with year 2 for the freedom of Israel. So these coins from the revolt there. From 132 to 135 BC. But what happened as a result of that revolt? And we'll wind down with this. In the aftermath of the Bar Kokhba revolt, the Roman Empire banned the Jewish people from setting foot in Jerusalem. To further obstruct the purposes of God, the city was renamed Aelia Capitolina. The word Capitolina, as in capital, referring to their capital god, Jupiter. Jerusalem was now dedicated to the chief of the Roman pantheon, group of gods. The holy city of Israel was rebuilt and renamed as a pagan city of Rome. The land of Israel would now bear the name of the enemy of Israel, the Philistines. It would be the Roman version of the name that had once denoted Israel's southeastern coast, the region once occupied by the Sea Peoples, which were the Philistines, were part of that. But now the entire land of Israel, the Holy Land, was to be renamed the land of the Philistines. The change was artificial and anti-historical. That land hadn't, the Philistines never had all that land. God had named the land after the people of Israel. The enemy named the land after their enemies. In the Hebrew scriptures, that coastal strip was the land of Pilishtim or Pilishet. In other languages, that basic root PLST remains. So in Greek, it's Palestine, in Latin, Palestina, English, Palestine. So the name was about more than erasure and nullifying. This was the first seed of the dragon sowing toward a future counter-resurrection. Just as there'll be a resurrection of Israel, there'll be a resurrection of the Philistines. There'll be a resurrection of Palestine. And so that's what we will see playing out in the classes ahead. So any reactions, thoughts, comments, questions on that? All good? Yeah.
I'm kind of around the idea that those coins, Rome had already, the Roman Empire had already been in existence for hundreds of years. Right?
Oh, yeah. That's a couple centuries BC.
Yeah, I mean, Caesar had, Rome had coins.
Yeah. Now, Roman control over, Rome, it was created back, several centuries BC, its founding, and it closer to the birth of Christ in 63 BC, Pompey conquered the area for Rome, and that's when it first fell under Roman rule in 63 BC. And then we have Mark Antony and Cleopatra and all that stuff, probably during the lifetime of Jesus's stepfather Joseph. And then Julius Caesar was the first dictator of Rome. He declined the title of emperor, but pretty much was. And then after he died, his heir, Augustus, became the first official emperor of Rome. And they've had emperors ever since and still to this point. So Titus, the general who destroyed the temple in the year 70, he later became an emperor. He's related to the Emperor Domitian, who banished John the Apostle to the island of Patmos, where he wrote Revelation. And so, yeah, there's still these emperors during these times. So, yeah, while Roman coinage certainly existed, those under their rule had their own local as well. So especially during this time of rebellion, these coins were minted and pressed, celebrating their revolt against Rome and trying to reestablish their own sovereignty. Yeah.
Sort of like Confederate money.
Like Confederate money.
That's what they sell coins for. And to commemorate the rebellion, that's what they.
Yes. Yes.
When they were created, but I just so that Rome would allow any of their occupied peoples to have their own currency. They didn't.
Yeah. And so there you see it was short-lived. Brother Peter.
Did they have dates on it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it says 6 BC, which of course, if that's the case, it's fake. No, it actually, these are the AD years, but again, they weren't using that reference yet. But it says year 2 of the freedom. So the revolt was from 132 to 135 BC. So year 1, year 2, year 3, they didn't make it to a year 6.
Point, and then we go through thousands of years, and we still have coins that represent something, that we're using. How much is it worth?
Oh, yeah.
It's sort of what it's worth, huh?
Yeah. How long will we use it?
Right. Let's see. There was. Okay. I think that is a good stopping point for us for now. Let's see. Yep, there's that. And let's see, there's that. Yeah, we did those. So, okay, yeah, we're good there. Let's go ahead and if nothing else, let's go ahead and stop our share and stop recording for the evening on this part 2 of this 2-part adventure this evening. And let's go ahead and stand in the center and meet in the center, get ready to close out in our season of prayer. We will fast forward very much after this. Next time around, we will pick up in 1897 with the first Zionist Congress, see the start of the Zionist movement, as we looked at it before, but I will refresh that in this context. And what was also born very shortly thereafter, who and what was born very shortly after that. No coincidence in the timing there. So I'll go ahead and leave you with that tidbit, and we'll go ahead and get ready to dismiss again in our season of prayer for the evening. Stop share and stop our recording.